Good morning, everybody. How is everybody doing? Well, I am up. It's stupid time in the morning here in the UK. I have my mug of coffee. It is literally just below freezing, and yeah, I am awake and ready to watch. So, what I'll do is once this is done, I'll bring this down because I'm going to keep the audio on it, and otherwise, Games Workshop will hit me with using their music and stuff. But I'll be making a video going over the reveals this morning, and that'll be up this afternoon. And then later on to this evening, probably about 6:30, there will be a video for the High Elf painting guide for the Old World. Oh, that tastes so good! So is everyone excited? What are we all expecting to have today? I personally think we're definitely going to see the launch box for the Solar Auxiliary. So that's the one thing I'm excited about. For 40k, I think it's going to be the Tau and the Orcs, and probably the Custodes box with the new Shield Captain. Age of Sigmar is something that I'm a little bit excited about. I'd like to see what those silhouettes are, because obviously it's an interesting year for Age of Sigmar, because obviously we've got 4th edition later this year. So it's this always that one thing around about now of what's going to be happening in regards to the sort of end of the edition moving into the new edition. So we'll see what cool little miniatures that they throw at us for this last 6 months. But yeah, should be an interesting preview. I'm not expecting massive things because this is a typical preview from Games Workshop, so it's always overhyped. But I am expecting some pretty good stuff. It should be good. I don't think there's many people live doing this, at least from the UK anyway. It is pretty early. Whoa! I think next time I do it, I'm not going to be putting the cabinet lights on. I'll not turn that on. But how is everybody? How is everyone doing? I've tried to set up the stream properly, so if anyone wants to talk in chat, feel free to do so. So at least to test to see if all that's working. I have monthly goals. I'm going to try to be doing a little bit more live streaming now on the channel. I am moving house next month. Hey, good morning, Bob. Plastic, Scryer, Acolyte. It's all the humble Skaven player wants. I don't think we're going to see any Skaven yet. I think that's probably going to be teased in March at Adepticon, and then I believe we have a Warhammer Fest in May, where I think that's where they'll roll out the big reveal for 4th edition. So I think this is just Got any pre-orders for this weekend at all? My local shop's allocation was not very big, and I missed out on getting some pre-orders, which I'm not worried about. I'll pick up later. And that being the case. Oh, here we go.
And welcome to this Warhammer
Eddie and
Previews.
Lewis.
My name's Lewis. I'm joined by the wonderful Eddie. And it is the last
They look very fresh and awake.
Otherwise known
Must have the
as
heating on in Warhammer
It's
World.
a very exciting time for us, I think. Warhammer, one of the independent Warhammer events in the calendar, always a super exciting time. As always, we've got some fantastic releases.
I applied for a
to show
job
you,
with
but
this.
Before we get into that,
I applied for a job as the
LVO.
Yeah, so
as
LVO,
one of the
Las Vegas
painters
Open is one of the
for
largest
the
independent
Warhammer
events
TV.
in the world. We think it's great that big independent Warhammer events
Obviously, I
happen
didn't get
all
it.
around the place, and we try and kind of
That's why I'm
support
still
them where
sat here.
we can. And one of the ways that we do that is some of the larger ones. We take the opportunity to show you some cool stuff. And obviously, we are here
Cool
right
stuff.
at the start of the new year, and it means that we've got lots of very exciting Warhammer things to show you that are coming up in the next few months. So we have things across multiple game systems: Warhammer 40,000, Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and the Horus Heresy, along with some
Horus
of the
Heresy is the
games
main one,
as
people.
well. So we've got some really
Solar
cool stuff
Auxiliaries
to
coming,
show you.
baby. Woo!
We are coming to you
Plastic
live from
Guard.
Nottingham.
Indeed.
The guys who are at the Las Vegas Open at the moment are lucky enough to have just sat through a preview and seen some of the stuff that you guys are about to see. They saw it about an hour ago, and now the rest of the world, you guys
Really?
are tuning in, get to watch it as well.
And it's not on the internet already?
Should be good. We've got some really good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of which, rest of the world, where are you guys joining us from, as is tradition?
Yeah.
We always have to ask. And also, what time is it as well? Because it's 5 a.m.
I mean, we
here.
know what time it is. Where
We
we
know
are,
what time it is
obviously.
here.
Yeah.
I was slightly unsure. 5 a.m. here. So what time is it where you guys are joining us from?
It is very early and very cold here in the UK.
Yeah, it's a bit
So
frosty
if
here
you
in
are,
the UK.
If you are tuning in from somewhere in the UK, in Europe, and you've rolled yourself out of bed in the small hours of the morning to join us, thank you ever so much for joining
Yes,
us.
we did.
We very much appreciate it.
Yes,
If you're watching
we
from somewhere
did.
else in the world, then let us know as well.
So what have we got? Verona, Italy, Australia, Brazil, Japan.
Where's all my viewers? Where are all you guys from? Where are you all
Argentina,
guys from?
all over the world. Thousands of you as well.
Is
Yeah,
it
so one of the cool
stupid
things
time
about
in the
doing
morning
these
where you
previews
are?
is that we do get to kind of have a moment and kind of share some cool Warhammer stuff with all the Warhammer community around the whole world, and it's great to kind of come
Wanting
together
to see
get
something
excited
World
about
Eater
Warhammer
related
in a
for
way.
Horus
The other
Heresy.
thing, of course, guys,
That would
is
be
to let us know in the
amazing.
chat if
Like,
anything
you
you're
know, that's the
particularly
dream,
hoping
isn't it?
that you see,
A
anything
World
you're
Eater
looking forward to
Praetor model.
particularly that gets
An
previews,
Iron
and
Warrior
obviously
Praetor
we've got
model.
our own
A
favourite
Salamander
favourites,
one. A
favourite
Raven
favourites.
Guard
We're
one.
always kind of
Hey,
fingers crossed that those
even
will be
some
released to review.
characters
And
for those
hopefully
legions would
some
be
of you
pretty
guys
nice,
tuning in will
but
get
maybe that's a little bit too much to ask for.
some armies that have been waiting to
California?
for some new
Hello, good morning from California.
We'll get their time today.
Yeah. So what have we got? We've got.
It's like night time for you, though, isn't it?
Too
Space
fast,
Wolves.
moving too fast
It's
to read almost.
moving too fast.
Before we get stuck in as well, I just want to say thanks to Raf, who's running the tech today. So if it all
What would they do if
smoothly,
Raf left?
he's-
Which it will.
Which it will, obviously. It's all because of him, and a big thanks to Notley, our moderator, who's keeping you
And
guys,
Notley.
Sane.
Notley and Raf left, they'd be
Big
pretty
thanks to those
screwed.
guys. Right, shall we?
Get the first preview on, fellas. Come on, let's have a little look.
Let's go.
What is it? Ooh. Kill Team, the Mandrakes. Which we all knew this was going to be coming. They are nice. The Frozen Waste of Colorado. Nice. They look really good. Oh, wow, yeah. I prefer the Night Lords, but they look really good. They're nice. Ooh.
A new Kill Team box there. The second for the new season of Kill Team.
Very nice, very nice.
Bad v bad as well. It's the Drakari Shadow Demons take on the.
Which is nice to see that Drakari are actually
Let's start with
getting
the Merciless
something,
Night Lords. What do we know about Sinister?
some nice new
What's this?
plastics.
Yeah, so this is Kill Team Nightmare. So we knew it was on its way.
Yeah.
We knew there was a new box of Kill Team coming. We had announced the name before, and we had talked about the Night Lords. So I'm not going to dwell on the Night Lords.
That is a really nice upgrade set. I'm hoping the other legions get the same sort of love.
Night Lords Nemesis Claw Kill Team, and as you can see, it's a really lovely bunch of Chaos Space Marine miniatures. And the key thing really here.
Can't believe I'm sitting on the internet in my dressing gown,
Kit for your Chaos
but I'm
Space
nice and
Marine,
warm and toasty.
Squad added on top of the already very cool Chaos Space Marine miniatures.
They are really cool.
Very Night Lordy touches there. So you've got like some bat-winged helmets. You've got some
The
lightning claws. There's lots of
Never been to
very
Colorado.
macabre
Always would like to.
details on them. You've even
That's
got
like in the
kind
middle of America, isn't it?
half a loyalist Space Marine on a stick.
Pretty much like where the Wild
We
West
have seen
was.
these before, so I'm not going to dwell on them for too
yeah.
long. So we're moving on
was
to
done.
the cool new thing.
My
we're announcing
little
today,
Chaos
which
Space
is
Marine player just
Mandrakes,
started playing
Drakari
Eldar.
Mandrakes for Kill
That's a
Team.
perfect box for them to
Obviously,
get.
both of these units as well. Also
They're
available in
nice.
Warhammer 40,000. So
I like them.
Mandrakes are a unit that's been with the Drakari, with the Dark Eldar, pretty much since their inception, but in various different forms. And this is the
Scalpers
first
will
Mandrakes
always
unit
get it
that's been
first.
available in
Although it
Kill
seems
Team.
to be
So
that
you can see
the
already these are
scalpers have
really
been
cool,
getting
dynamic,
their
very
orders
detailed,
cancelled by
miniatures.
Games
The
Workshop.
perfect choice for a Kill
At
Team
least that's
because
what
these are absolutely
Heresy Hammer was
shadow
showing last night
units
for
that
some of the
hang
books.
out in the night and kind of pounce on opponents. and
I'm
that sort of thing.
going to get
A few
my
things to kind of
copy
note
of
about this kit,
part
you'll be
3
familiar
of
with
the
concept
Horus
of
Heresy
if you're
book
a
on
Drakari
Audible
fan
and
already.
listen to it on
But
Audible.
there's some new things in the mix
Then I
here
don't
as
have to
well.
worry
So
about
rather
physical
than
books.
being a default unit where every model is effectively the same, there's a little bit of variety mixed into this.
I would like to
kit
do
as
an
well. So
Aldari
you've got
army,
some lead
either
units in there,
Craft
you've got
World
the
or
Night Fiend,
Drakari.
You've got a model called a Shadow Weaver, who's that one that you can see on the far right,
Yeah, I
kind of
love
throwing a cloak of midnight around himself. And then you've got a couple of variations of
Very
weapons.
Age of Sigmar Shadow
There is
Elves
a big two-handed
from Warcry.
flaying sword there, which looks pretty terrifying.
Nice. Imagine swinging that.
Yeah. So the way that these guys fight is that they are kind of part Drakari, part Shadow Demon. Their origins are a little bit mysterious, as is the case with a lot of Warhammer 40,000, and they wear cloaks of flayed skin. So I suppose in that regard, they probably fashion choices are kind of on par with the Night Lords.
They're pretty cool.
Kind of going with the same tailor.
Same style.
But they are pretty good in close combat. They've got kind of flaying
Like
knives
the
and weapons,
bases.
very cruel looking weaponry there, kind of a little bit butcher.
I wonder if the bases are
there
going to
in
be
the mix, and
pre-molded.
They've also got the ability to kind of throw shadowy flame.
Or
all over
they've
the place as
they've
well.
the
So,
studio
threats
team
at
have done
range
that.
and up close.
The
And
bases
Warhammer
like that
40,000,
themselves
their
with
thing
those
is
little
they
bits
can
of
kind
rock
pop in and out,
sprinkled on
of
top.
the shadows and attack wherever they need to on the battlefield.
Scary stuff indeed.
Yeah, very, very cool unit. I think as well one that Drakari players have been looking forward to for a very long time.
This is the one thing about the
Um,
previews. It's
now
it's
expanded
an hour
to
long,
already
but
very
it's
lovely,
mostly
Drakari range.
Eddie
It's
talking.
It's new exciting places, and I think as well like a treat for painters as well. So you look at some of those miniatures and the opportunity to do some very fancy work on some of those kind of tattoos and glowing bits.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
That would be kind of cool.
Flame
The
on there as
flames
well.
and stuff would be
Lovely
fun to
little mix
paint.
of textures
I might have to
across
get
models as
some
well.
and do
So
some
you've
painting
got kind of flayed
tutorials.
Skin, you've got the dark demonic skin. You've got kind of wispy hair. And
Who
you've
wants
got
to be?
flames and
Who's
knives and all
who's
sorts
going
of
to
stuff.
join
So
the
a really,
memberships and become a
lovely
green name?
Mix, yeah.
I haven't got any
Nice.
green
Some
names.
New terrain as well.
Well, I do. Mrs. Pointy, but she's not going to get up. Mrs. Pointy's not very well right now.
Generatorium, isn't it? Yeah, of
So you can put this in the middle of your new kill zone. Kind of, you can imagine this kind of popping out the middle of the oil rig, in the middle of those kind of turbulent seas across the planet.
Not sure on the big
kind of
square
nice
bit of
solid
terrain.
ground
That looks a
for fighting,
little
but
bit weird.
The new season of Kill Team is obviously set across these raised plates that you can imagine kind of popping out of the turbulent seas of the kind of water planets of Warhammer 40,000. But the Generatorium is flexible enough actually that it's a large piece of terrain that you could also sit quite happily in the middle of a Warhammer 40,000 battlefield, and it's tall enough as well that you could probably like hide a few infantry units behind it as well. So it's just a nice, cool, fairly
It
sizable block. It
would be nice to see the Night Lords actually get a HQ model,
as well, I think, because that sort of
like a Night Lord's Chaos Lord.
as well on it.
That would be pretty nice.
Yeah, I think that's the.
Yeah, so if you're playing
kind of
Kill Team
steps up,
especially,
yeah.
there's lots of like little nooks and crannies and stuff, which is what you want from Kill Team, right? You want to have...
If you're a Horus Heresy player and play Night Lords, that upgrade set that comes in the Kill Team box, which is apparently going to be sold separately, will work with the Mark 6 and the Mark 3 kits.
Initially in a big box set, which is Kill Team Nightmare, and then as is traditional, both of those units will be made available separately, individually for Warhammer 40,000, and that terrain piece as well. So yeah, all of that on its way. So whether you're a Kill Team fan or a Warhammer 40,000 fan, there's some good stuff.
Nice.
Very nice. So I think without further ado, shall we do the
yeah, let's have a look at the next
reveal?
Ooh, Age of Sigmar, or Warcry. That was a Lumineth model. Ooh, Lumineth. Lumineth Ninethorns. Okay. Okay. Lumineth, you've got me interested. A Lumineth unit that's close combat. They're nice. I've got a big soft spot for Lumineth. I really have. That's nice. That's a pretty cool looking ghost. Yep, I want that Lumineth box. They look really good. Oh, the next wave of Lumineth coming in 4th edition is going to be awesome. Tyrion's coming, baby.
To brave the horrors of the Gnarlwood there in this Warcry box, Pyre and Flood. It's Lumineth versus Nighthaunt. Eddie, tell us a little bit about this.
So this is a new box set for Warcry. As you say, we've got Lumineth and Nighthaunt. This is a continuation of the Warcry season we're in already, which is set in the jungle of Gur. So still very much in the setting that you're familiar with, which means you can quite happily pitch both of these warbands against any of the warbands that currently exist in Warcry. And much like every other Warcry set we've seen so far, as well as adding new skirmish forces to Warcry, they also add new units to armies for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. So if you've got a Nighthaunt force or a Lumineth force, this gives you another unit to kind of add into the mix.
They're nice. Riverblades. The rumor for 4th edition is the water river cast is going to be the next big sort of cast to be put into the into Lumineth Realm Lords, and apparently Tyrion is going to be coming with that, and he will be riding his water dragon. So yeah, this is looking like these rumors could be legit, but they're really nice, really nice.
Delivering their kind of precision strikes, and you've got a good mix of different unit types in there, and you can sort of like read into.
You don't really get many close combat units in a Lumineth army either. I mean, you've got like as in proper close combat units.
New additions to the mix. So your leader there is called a Pure Flood Seneschal.
They're really nice. I like them.
Impressive stallion helm and his kind of trident. You have the Stream Runners, which are your kind of the ones with the fully armored faceplates, which are kind of very in tune with the spirit of the water. And then you've got the
I'm getting
the mix, which are the crest
some
dancers,
definite sort of
lightly armored
Harlequin
just
type
learning
vibes
their
from
trade.
these guys,
But this unit in Warcry, you can imagine being very effective.
with a bit of
They're gonna be very
with a
fast,
hint
they
of
can
High
charge,
Elf and
they can
War
charge
Dancer.
happily across all the various
The terrain there
terrain.
looked nice.
And
I'll
what they're
probably
trying
have to
to
pick
do
that up.
effectively in Warhammer Age of Sigmar is tend to and nurture the rivers and the wild watery places of the Mortal Realms, and particularly in the Gnarlwood, they're trying to make sure that the river that's been kind of set off course by the eruption of the huge Gurish jungle is kind of set back on the right path to kind of wash away the forces of chaos and darkness that inevitably pop up almost everywhere in the Mortal Realms.
I have a Nighthorn army.
Stop me if I'm wrong, but I
They're
imagine
very
that the
flimsy,
Nighthorn
but the
Pyre
ghostly
Guides are
aesthetics is what
absolutely
makes it worth it as a collection.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope for Deepkin.
This is very much an elemental force.
Deepkin would be
back
cool.
in the
I've always got a
Warhammer
soft spot for
forces of
Deepkin.
Water and then and fire on this side, and the Pyregeists.
They're pretty
that's
sweet.
Fun IP basically. Where,
Not a big fan of
Nagash
Nighthorn, but
is
they're
Lord of
nice.
Death and obviously is particularly fond of.
They look like they want to
punishments
snap off
for the
those
spirits
bases.
Of anybody who's seen wronged him, or otherwise really just generally a bit spiteful. And
But yeah, they're pretty cool. Yeah. I might have to get that box purely just for the Lumineth, but
mortals who in life
you know,
were
some nice painting tutorials for this side of the box at least.
or particularly temples of the dead. So they would have been
Pretty impressive. My friend Archie will be very happy with that. He's a mainstay Lumineth player right now. Although on Wednesday night, my Cities of Sigmar kicked his ass. My new chicken, my new battle griffin, pretty much rampaged through his army.
And kind of made sure that the spirits of the departed were kind of seen happily into.
I was very happy that my Fusiliers killed Teclis over 2 turns.
Nagash didn't really like that because he wanted to make sure that all the souls went to him. So whenever he got his hands on any of these souls,
So we got what?
make sure that they
Horus Heresy, 40k, Age of
punishment was
Sigmar,
actually not to
and
fallen souls to paradise, but actually
Underworld's
they
left.
went to him. The warriors with the halberds there are Bale Guard, so they would previously have been guardians of tomb complexes and looked after the sacred burial grounds of the Mortal Realms. And again, Nagash didn't like that because he wants to have get hold of both the souls and the literal bones and mortal remains of those warriors.
So,
When he managed to get hold of
any
one of those
feedback on
souls,
how I've
he
set up
put
the
them to
screen?
use guarding,
I had to play around with it last night to try to make it
Then
look a
you've
little
got
bit better
the
than what it
flame
was.
wraiths, which are the ones
I think it does look
holding
good for live streaming.
and in life, they would have been they would have been monks who lit the candles of those sacred places in the various tomb complexes and things. And in death, they now serve Nagash, setting people on fire basically, and ushering those souls to him. And I think my favourite are those ones at the top, which are torch wraiths, and they are effectively, in life, they would have been grave robbers. And Nagash isn't a fan of that either, because he likes to get hold of all of those.
Nagash isn't a fan of many things. He is literally just an angry guy. Oh, just a quick thing for everybody. Does everyone watch the YouTube channel Mr. Bones? Does law videos.
Throwing that fire back at his enemies. So a really interesting mix of units for Warcry. So this very much built as a skirmish warband with lots of different variety in it, but also able to be used in Warhammer.
Because if you don't, you should, because I'm going to be doing a collab with him. Ooh, that's a really big slan.
Of the old ones, which is a malfunctioning artifact of power.
That's really cool.
So,
I like that.
The whole of the Gurish jungle, the Gnarlwood, is effectively strewn with bits of this colossal Seraphon starship. That's
I might get this. It couldn't give me any worse than the coordinate Shadow Stalkers. An Necron player I know kit bashes these guys into an army. Gives it a more spooky ethereal mount. Hey, that's a really good idea.
Laced with magic.
I like that terrain piece. That's pretty cool.
Kind of fantastical and
So,
you've got
the old ones apparently look like Slan.
Possibly a Slan.
Interesting.
But also you've got some hints there that there's some tech going on inside it. So there is that kind of little celestial constellation of dots on the front might be magical.
But the old ones weren't in the Mortal Realms. They were long gone and dead by that point.
In the Mortal Realms, apart from the fact that it's half made of
Or
gold.
were they?
If you can drag this back to civilization somehow, you'll probably be quite rich. But the Gnarlwood is probably not keen on relinquishing this. So if you can get it, good stuff. But you've got to brave the pirate.
Interesting box.
And all of this
Definitely getting a thumbs up. Definitely going to be on the to get list for that Lumineth
to play the Lumineth and the
unit.
New warbands in Warcry.
Lovely stuff. Warcry there. Oh yeah.
There is all
together.
That's
so
nice.
I think that gives you a sense of how big that piece of terrain is.
I like Warcry. Warcry's a fun game. When I'm moving with my girlfriend next month, I'm going to try to get her to play some Warcry because we can play it on our dining room table.
You will probably now have
I think kill team's going to be a little bit too much
weeds,
for her.
trees and,
Although she does like
old
Battle
relics
Sisters.
and all sorts of stuff. So this is a nice kind of centerpiece to kind of top that off.
Lovely stuff.
Or as she calls them, bolter bitches.
So, let's take a look at the next one.
Let's keep going.
Here's the Kroot for 40k. I can imagine Valrak is like wetting himself for vindication. I think at this stage, pretty much most YouTubers with any form of connection to Games Workshop know what's going on. But new Kroot are nice. Nice. That used to be a Forge World model. Ooh, they're pretty cool. New Battle Tome. This is the launch box, obviously.
Hunting season is well and truly open. Everyone in the chat just going, Kroot, Kroot. This is the new Kroot for the Tau Empire.
They're nice.
The new codex as well for the Tau in 10th edition. Eddie, let's start with the Kroot. What do we know about these Masters of DNA?
So the Kroot have been part of the Tau Empire since their inception back in a previous edition of Warhammer 40,000, but they haven't had a huge amount of attention since they came
Back in a
out.
previous edition.
One very notable exception of
What,
Kill
did the
Team
Kroot not
that
turn
was
up in,
released
what, 3rd edition?
for
Third?
Kill Team.
Tau turned up in, what,
But
3rd
we're now
edition?
seeing a massive
Yeah, they were in
expansion
3rd
of the
edition.
Kroot. And what we're going to show you today is only some of the new Kroot that are on their way.
I'm an old
for
world.
the Tau Empire as auxiliaries for Warhammer 40,000. So this is we'll start with the Kroot Carnivore Squad.
Yeah,
These are
I've
basic
got.
troopers. So
They definitely
this is the,
hinted and
refresh
showed an
of
Age of
an
Sigmar
existing
Dark
kit,
Oath mounted
with
guy.
loads more detail. It's been a very long time since the Kroot Carnivore Squad came out. It was I think early 2000s, so almost 20 years waiting.
That's definitely happening.
And the new kit has got everything you'd hope for in a new kit of Warhammer 40,000. Loads of different options in the mix there.
I don't know how my brain can
very
take
dynamic,
this. You
very
know,
cool.
it's a major release for Tau, and there
New
is
special
no
weapons that
little
you
blue
can see.
faces in
Got
the
lots
box.
left there. Got some lots of combat options. Lots of things to kind of add a bit of variety, and these are very interchangeable as well with the Kroot Kill Team that came out I think last year.
Yeah.
So loads.
That's
of
kind of confirmed a lot of the earlier rumours
and if
about the
you've got-
Kroot
if you've
coming
got
out
Tau
for
Army, you
10th
have
edition.
quite a lot of these
You know,
units
we
as
got
well,
a Kill
so
Team,
there's not
which
a
is
huge amount of,
normally a good
extra
sort of good
detail that goes
indication
on
of
these
what
beyond
is coming for the for that army.
themselves, which is good because you might want to have 20, 30.
It's like the Leagues of Votann. I'm really looking forward to the jump pack squad.
Arguably
That is clearly coming for the Leagues of Votann.
Very cool stuff on the way.
That's a nice
This,
model.
Is a Kroot flesh shaper. One of the things that the guys have done with the new Kroot is they've really expanded the concept of shapers, which previously was almost like a catch-it-all term for all Kroot leaders were called shapers. And what they've now done is expanded the idea of a shaper into different roles.
Yeah.
So there are now shapers whose main
Well,
job
my
is to be,
boomstick.
to kind of lead the evolutionary development of the Kroot. There are those of them that are almost like shamanic. There are those of them that are kind of trackers or hunters or war leaders and things like that. So the flesh shaper, his kind of role is to kind of basically decide who the Kroot are going to eat. They're like, you want to eat that bit, and you want to eat that bit,
don't eat that.
and kind of make almost like a butcher kind of role to some extent, and that's reflected in some of the weapons. But you can see that this guy's also tooled up to the nines, right? Like he's got a lot of different weapons.
I wonder what crazy rules they're going to have.
So he's also going to be a bit of a menace in close combat. A really beautiful kit though. Like there's a lot of detail on that. So if you're a painter and you're looking for something to kind of show off your skills, this is cool. And I think worth saying as well across the entire range, if you have a Tau army, this gives you a really interesting and different set of stuff to paint into.
Is it
army,
me?
Which otherwise is very kind of like near.
Or
sci-fi.
do these new Kroot have a
another shaper? So this is a really
Native
cool kit. This is a
American
war shaper,
vibe to them?
and their role really is the kind of general of the Kroot force. And you can see already there with some of the options we've got on display that there are a lot of different approaches to this particular kit. You can see variant heads, variant weapons. You've got bows and staves and close combat weapons and all sorts.
That is
really
nice.
lovely detail across this model as well. You can see the cloak.
that there is a model you're going to see at Golden Demon a lot
Kroot-looking
in the
plain
single
skin on the back
entry.
there. Loads of kind of extra detail on this guy as well. So this is a really lovely model. This is probably one of the more detailed.
Like the shoulder pad, how
range.
it's has no detail, so you're going to be able to paint it differently. That's really quite nice.
We haven't really seen that since the first incarnation of the Kroot, so great to see. Now this is a brand new unit, so Kroot
wow.
is familiar with anyone who's played Tau Empire Army in the past, but Krootox Rampages gives you a very different way of approaching them. So rather than being lumbering weapons platforms, these are younger, bold kind of shock cavalry versions.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of John Carter vibes from this Kroot, which is kind of cool. Because it's a great film. You should really watch it.
Cavalry and stuff like that. So they hit very hard.
They are nice. Not going to do a Tau army, but they're nice.
They've got a little bit of shooting as well with those javelins and things, but really what these guys are about is just smashing right into the core of the enemy.
Currently working on
what they really do is
Howling Griffin Terminators.
a very different style of approach to part of your force, because one of the things that you do struggle with the Tau army is, well, if the enemy get close, what am I going to do to fight them up close? How do I shift enemy units off objectives? This is one of your units that can absolutely do that. You send these guys into an enemy force on an objective, and they will rip them up, right? So they throw them around. Very, very cool dynamic miniatures. You can see there, they're kind of loping across the battlefield, charging forward. A very dynamic, very fun-looking unit to paint.
Yeah, they look great. They look
They're pretty cool.
mean.
Look mean, yeah.
Looks like Tau are finally getting a bit of
melee.
melee. They are, but let's be fair, they're not really going to have the best of saves in the world. Like, are they going to stand up to against the unit of a Chaos Space Marines, World Eaters, or like even the Assault Marines, Assault Intercessors from the Primaris? Like,
alternate gun options as well, which is a new.
They're Kroot at the end of the day.
Blast weapon options. You've got some heavier, kind of big autocannon-esque sort of options. And this guy, role doesn't really change. Fundamentally, what he's for is kind of hanging out towards the back of the battlefield.
They are cool though.
With some of your
It's good to see that they're expanding factions now. I'd like to see some Vespid.
Unless you're a pretty decent close combat unit.
Yeah.
So that's about half of the new Kroot stuff that's coming. That's what we're going to show you today. But all of the stuff that we've just shown you there actually comes in.
That's half of the new Kroot.
Which is the Kroot hunting pack. So you get two of.
So there's more Kroot coming.
Kroot infantry, the Kroot carnivores. You get a big unit of Kroot rampages. You get a Krootox, and you get the two.
Reject melee.
There as well. So you get a very sizable.
Yeah, I mean, like Tau are your gunline army. They always will be.
Or you can use it as the start of a Kroot force. And one of the things that is in the new Tau Empire Codex, which also comes in that box, is a bunch of new detachments. And one of those detachments.
I would like to do. I want to play more 40k.
Or entirely, if you want to.
I played when the weekend of it launched. I played a tournament with my World Eaters, and I got 2 wins and 1 loss, which I was quite pleased with. Pretty much Angron was running around. But I would like to get more playing. That's why I'm slowly collecting my Howling Griffin's army. But I do want to do Eldar, like some form of elf in 40k. I'm a guard player, and getting the Rough Riders had a welcome change up to the usual playstyle. They're beautiful. They're beautiful. What do you think of the rumours of the guard getting Death Corps of Krieg army in plastic?
In which case you can add in any of those new Kroot units into your Tau army. So
that
pretty much
could well tip me into doing a guard army.
Some lovely stuff for the Kroot there.
Yeah, get a treat. And like I say, that's only about half of the new stuff that's on its way, and we'll have.
They kind of do have a Native American vibe, but not. Yeah, there's definitely a hint of it. There's definitely a hint of that.
Let's do it.
Age of Sigmar. Or is this Underworlds? Oh no, Age of Sigmar. So this is the Dawnbringer Crusade. Unlikely allies arrive. Okay, what is that? Daughters of Cain. It's time to see all.
Krathusa the Crone Seer there. An important new Daughters of Cain character from the Age of Sigmar. Eddie, tell us about this mysterious prophet.
So this is a really exciting
Death Code would be awesome.
So
Get away
from
the
a
Forge.
lore perspective,
I think it's pretty much safe to say right now that anything that's army-wide on Forge World is moving to plastic. So, like,
if you're familiar with the way
the Solar Auxiliary are obviously now leaving the Forge World, even though Forge World doesn't exist anymore. And the Death Corps of Krieg are one of the next big things. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this. I'm not vibing with this at all. This doesn't
intentions and don't really believe what she's up to. And Crethusa, the Crone Seer, represents part of that. It's also a very kind of deep lore dive into some very old elven lore. With the Crone is a very old elven god, and she's almost representing someone who's kind of stumbled across the power of this very buried elven deity.
Are they trying to retcon the end times?
She's blind, and that kind of headdress that she's got also kind of, I think you were saying, has...
Oh, it's like inverted spikes.
Has inverted spikes into her own eyes, so she can't see, but she can see through the power of her kind of crows that she spreads around, so she's kind of lives in the shadow and kind of sees through these familiars, and the feathers of her wings can also turn into an ethereal flock of crows that can peck out the eyes and attack enemies and things like that.
Yeah, I'm not digging this one.
She's definitely not a good guy. She's on Team Order, but she's a fairly sinister sort of character. And representing a very interesting kind of new piece of the political dynamic for the Daughters of Cain, particularly. In game terms, she is a powerful priestess who can kind of add a lot of stuff to a Cainite force, and you can certainly build an army into that kind of way of playing. And certainly, as a model, just a really lovely display.
If they drop a full line of plastic Krieg, I'll totally play 40k. Kill team is, so what? It's like a few Witch Elves and some Doomfire Warlocks with a bit. Yeah, basically a lot of these Dawnbringer Crusade boxes, the new character that's featured in the book will come out in a box with a lot of existing models, and then they'll get released separately. Like Ionis on his dragon has only just come out separate now.
Or you can kind of lean into this new kind of shadowy aspect.
It's if you're a Daughters of Cain player, you're gonna get it. But yeah, I'm not digging this. Like
Mortal Realms as well. So if we have a look at our next reveal, we'll see why.
So obviously there's another character coming for this. Dawnbringers 5, which should be the last one. I knew there was a Stormcast. Yeah, I knew there was a Stormcast with pistols. Is that Haskell? That looks like the Witch Hunter from the Hammer and Bolter cartoon.
Rising in Dawnbringers 5, Shadow of the Crone. Eddie, what do we know about this?
Yeah, so the Crone Seer is the titular character of Book 5 of the Dawnbringer series. Book 4 is on the way and will be kind of death-themed and will be all about the kind of fleshy to courts, and that's on its way very soon. But we followed very soon after by Book 5, which is a much more gritty, low-level, I guess, exploration of the Mortal Realms, mostly set in the city of Hammerhall, where the Crone Seer is aiding a team of Age of Sigmar heroes as they root out some of the evil beneath the twin-tailed city. So as well as the Crone Seer, who is a kind of important character, and we get to see why she is one of the big movers and shakers of the lore in the Age of Sigmar.
Nice.
We also get to meet two characters which you might be familiar
those
with if you are
they're from the cartoon,
or you're fans of the Black Library series, which is Callus and Toll, the saviors of Cinderfall. So these are agents of Azir. They are.
I'm gonna have to get them as a Cities of Sigmar player.
A little bit like your kind of witch hunter archetype in Age of Sigmar, and what they do in Hammerhall and beyond is to root out those kind of chaos cults and various disreputables that might seek to undermine the Cities of Sigmar. So very much in the Cities of Sigmar army, but kind of the low level.
For the 40k reveals, I wish they would show what the World Eaters on Juggernauts. I've got a video up on the channel about the Wave 2, and the rumours are strong. very, very strong
So you've
that
got, Valis, Keeper,
mounted World
Askew,
Eaters on Juggernauts
who is the
are coming in Wave 2.
Stormcast there,
In fact,
and he is
they're
one of
so
the
strong that
guardians
the 9th
of
edition
Hammerhall.
Codex has a picture
You
of
can
them
see on his shield there,
in the
symbol
artwork.
of Hammerhall, which I think we first saw.
If you go to, I can't remember what page it is, but there's a page where it talks about the Lord Invocatus. There's some artwork of the Lord Invocatus, and around there's about 4 or 5 World Eater Juggernaut riders in the artwork, and they're not Juggernaut Lords; they are normal Berserkers. So they've it's the worst kept secret for the World Eater players.
You've got an interesting character, Mistress Varentia. She is the character there with the kind of slim-looking cat.
Yeah,
and she is a spy mistress.
Yeah, I like it. It's kind of cool.
To do that is that she has lots of little helpers and friends and critters and creatures.
The Gryph-hound mix kit is always. You've got to love a Gryph-hound. Like if you're a Cities of Sigmar or a Stormcast player, you know, your collection of Gryph-hounds should be wide and many. It's a shame that it's not the little dragon one that you get in the Command Corp. I like the little dragon thing. It's kind of cool.
So not one but two little.
Gotta love Griffins. Gryph-hounds. I would like Cities of Sigmar to get a unit of them. Like Warhounds, but for cities.
Especially if you've been following the Black Library books and animations, you might be familiar with. But they definitely give you a kind of mortal eye view of the mortal realms.
See, for me, this, rather than being an Age of Sigmar unit, for me, this is Warcry.
Across the board, every single one of
like this entire unit screams Warcry, and the Lumineth Realm Lord screams Age of Sigmar. Like it's that unit should be in Age of Sigmar, in the Lumineth Battle Tome as a standalone unit. This should be a Warcry warband. It looks like a Warcry warband. There's obviously a novel coming for it.
They already featured in a couple of novels already. And
they are kind of cool characters. I've read some of their novels already.
Callus and Toll, where we get to see them in Hammerhall, getting up to what they do best,
Ooh.
uncovering chaos cults and general swat.
I like David Annandale. He's quite a good author as well. I'd like to see them getting some Warcry rules, because that screams Warcry. Ooh, more Age of Sigmar. Oh no, Underworlds, yay! I don't play Underworlds, but of course it's going to be death related. So new Necromancer. That's a nice Necromancer model if you're already playing Soulblight Gravelords. What are they? Are they Slaanesh? Slaanesh finally getting some love for Underworlds?
Zondara's Gravebreakers bringing some love to the Death Gorge there. This is a new Death Warband for Warhammer Underworlds. Eddie, what do we know about these?
So this is a really fun premise for a warband, because effectively, at its heart, it doesn't look like it. Bear with me, this is a love story, right?
It is.
So Zondara is the necromancer wizard character that you can see in the center there, and her love has been cursed in the realm of beasts. There's loads of curses going around.
Please tell me her lover is not the big dog in the background.
But her love has been cursed and turned into a beast, basically. So that weird beast wolf.
That's problematic.
Monster character there. She is seeking in the realm of beasts a cure for that, and she thinks that the cure can be found somewhere in the vast graveyard.
Yeah, it's like I don't know what that is. I like the fact that it has trousers. It's good that it has trousers. It has a pair of pants on, which is nice to see.
Zombies imbued them with extra strength, and she is cracking open graves across the realm of beasts to try and find magic.
That is a zombie that loves his life. Just wants to hammer that nail in.
What that gives you in Underworld's Warband is a really interesting mix of models, and also some very interesting mix of abilities and things for gaming purposes. So right at the heart of the warband,
so wrong in so many levels. I know she's a necromancer, but come on,
also
we don't want a bit of bestiality. That's just nuts. Well, there goes my monetization. Fuck it.
You know, they're not going to.
Don't Warcry models get rules in the Battle Tome? Yeah, these will get updates in the Battle Tome. So the Solarite Gravelord Battle Tome in 4th edition will have rules for this warband. And the Lumineth will have rules for the little river unit. And the Nighthaunt will have rules for that weird ghosty unit. So yeah. As well, everything that we're seeing here is going to have rules in the new Battle Tomes for 4th edition.
Kind of overlap between them as well, and some fun.
This is why it's that weird period of the end of the edition. Like, this is basically just to tie us into the rest of the year to get us to the summer. I think 4th edition is dropping June, July. I'm gonna hazard a guess that it's going to be about June the 22nd and June the 24th.
That can add some exciting mechanics to the game as well. So it's exciting across the board, really.
Yeah, really good stuff.
I'll tell you right now. Yeah, the weekend of June the 22nd. I'm thinking 4th edition is dropping. Here we go, baby! Solar Auxiliary launch box. If anyone's watched my earlier podcast on the Heresy, I've been talking about this since they said there was a mystery army coming. I said there was an armored transport. Oh, look at that. New tanks. New heavy sentinels. It's almost like the epic stuff was what we're getting shown. They are nice. I am not doing a Solar Auxiliary army. I am doing a Solar Auxiliary army. Where's the Ogres? So there is a battle. Is that a battle force? Yeah, there is a box.
Humanity's finest mortal troops, the Solar
They're nice.
Auxilia, and some all-new plastic kits. It's a big release for us as well, Eddie.
This is an absolutely enormous release of plastic kits.
I had some of my posts deleted from the Warhammer social medias because they put up yesterday the icon and it was all sort of spread out and people were saying it was Custody Guard, and I kept on sharing the actual logo for the Solar Auxiliary from the Black Books and saying it's definitely 100% Solar Auxiliary, and the community team were deleting my posts.
And let's dive into some of these miniatures because
they are really good. They're really nice.
Far easier to put together as a force and collect as an army than
so this is the mystery army that they told us about last year.
A great job of
worst kept secret ever.
Already very cool resin designs into plastic, and in the mix they've added in loads of options and customizability.
So you see all those rumors about Death Corps of Krieg going plastic as a plastic range for 40k?
These are your basic.
I would listen to those rumors a lot because pretty much the more and more we see things from Forge World move plastic, it's very clear that that's the intent from Games Workshop.
Are not able to kind of conquer the entire galaxy. So when the Emperor set out on his Great Crusade, he identified the fact that
I love the fact that they actually are running around with Hellball laser rifles.
It's a very, very big place. So you need some auxilia to go with them. You need some backup. So Solar Auxilia literally is auxilia from the solar system. That's where the name comes from. So they were attached onto the Space Marine forces to give them extra manpower. But as the Crusade evolved, the Solar Auxilia sort of became a byproduct for a byword for elite mortal troops. So other than the Space Marines, they are seen as the most competent troops in the.
Like that, we get the plastic Solaris gauntlets from the sergeants.
In the wider Imperial Army, the Solar Auxilia are kind of looked upon as these are the best that a mortal can get without being elevated to the status of kind of post-human in some way, shape, or form. Usually Space Marine. Yeah. They are given the best weapons that the Imperium can muster en masse. So there are millions of these guys out spread across the Great Crusade, and lots of regiments.
It's one unit they've not shown us so far, and it's the Ogre.
Upon the Solar Auxiliary as well.
The Ogre units.
Every legion is backed up by hosts of troops that look like these, as well as there being plenty of expeditionary and crusade forces that are also backed up with loads of Solar Auxilia troops. And then when Horus turned against the Emperor, about half of the Solar Auxilia, just like the Space Marines, fell with him and decided to kind of back his play to be the new Emperor of mankind. So you can play
Plastic Adaptus Mechanicus for Horus Heresy when?
The rifle section here represents your basic troopers. They have got las guns and bayonets. The bayonets look particularly ferocious. You can see those on a few of those there. They look like they would make a mess of someone.
Yeah.
They
look like they're going to snap.
But up against the Space Marine, you will need a lot of these guys in your force. So if you are looking to build an army of these for the Horus Heresy, and you want to go infantry heavy, you can put an awful lot of Solar Auxilia las sections into your army. The rules for these already exist, so you can already find them in some of the books that accompanied the release of the Age of Darkness box set. But the key thing really is that
I think they're in the Imperial book with the Custody Guard.
It's a less useful material to work with than plastic. It takes a bit longer.
The Militia, which is basically the normal guard, has a free PDF that you can download.
Entire armies of Solar Auxilia if you want to.
You can use the 40k range of miniatures for them.
You've got power fists and plasma pistols and volkites and there's kind of banners and stuff in there as well. But this is, again, arguably the least exciting of all the kits that's on the way. There's loads of cool upgrades.
Command Squad, really cool. I like that.
Section. So you can see in the mix there you've got.
Do you know what as well? You could probably use these models in 40k as guard.
Power weapons, plasma pistols. So these are relatively well equipped.
Which is a really nice thing.
And it's just good, right? Because they have to go things like Space Marines. So
technically, no, they're not legal.
Hold the line against things like
as in, like, there won't be rules for these in 40k. This is purely 30k. But these units could be easily used as an Imperial Guard command squad, or an Imperial Guard like Cadian shock squad. I've gotten the 2nd edition box and the 3rd. Like, that's just a Sentinel.
On the way for these guys. So this is the Ethon Heavy Sentinel, and you can see there that it comes with loads of weapon options. So
they are cool. Now, there's a build for this, I believe, that's open-topped.
You've also got a range of different.
They kind of teased that before Christmas.
There as well. Loads of choices.
I've got the 2nd box set and the Mark III Battle Force from the World Eaters. I'm about to start Iron Warriors. I was going to do Emperor's Children. But Iron Warriors are speaking to me in regards to they're very much more closer to being soldiers than like super soldier space knights. So I'm going to be going Iron Warriors. So I will be starting my
allowing them some kind of close range support as they kind of wade off into the Great Crusade.
The big chicken,
certainly not a match for something like a Dreadnought.
It is a big chicken.
But again, much like the troops under
again,
would be outnumbering things like
anything that was in the Imperialis, the little epic box, is going to be here in 40k scale. So, like, that's what I mean. This is the worst kept secret ever.
Lots of the things that you see during the Horus Heresy are the origin of some of the things that we know and are very familiar with in Warhammer 40,000.
I was one of the first people on YouTube to say that this is what was happening.
Tanks on the way.
People like Valrak came out with demons and all of other shenanigans for the Mystery Army, but I said from the very start, Solar Auxiliary will come into plastic. The fact that the tanks are plastic is one of the best things, because that was one of the really expensive parts about this army. Use the Melter Lord out to make Elysian drop Sentinels. Deep straight. Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm pretty sure you could probably use a lot of this in 40k if you like that aesthetics. Like, this could be used as a Chimera. Not too sure a Chimera has a massive battle-ass cannon on the front of it, but you could probably use them. Pretty sure that's a Lehman Russ chassis, though.
There's a new Lehman Russ on the
There's also a new Baneblade, which Games Workshop shown ages ago. In fact, they shown the 40k, the new Baneblade, during the promotional stuff for the Epic game. Like, it was blatantly the new plastic Baneblade for 30k.
And you've got all of the different weapon options.
Unless they're really good at drilling out heavy bolter barrels on 8mm models, like amazingly perfectly, like they did, then that would have been quite impressive. But yeah, this is good for a Horus as a Horus Heresy player. This excites me.
And again, it looks a little bit more maybe industrial, maybe kind of mass-produced than some of the later.
But again, if you're playing 40k and you want a different looking
workhorse tank
Lehman Russ, here you go.
So, whereas in Warhammer 40,000, you certainly see squadrons of these. In the time of the Horus Heresy, you would have had whole battlefields full of these tanks rolling forward. Battles like Talon and things like that, where you would have had entire companies of these in the hundreds.
I mean, if they do drop Death Corps of Krieg infantry as a bigger expanse for an army, like command squads and stuff like that, these tanks would fit the aesthetics for the Death Corps of Krieg really well.
Where you can kind of actually have hundreds of these on the battlefield, but there is something cool about having the bigger tank as well, and still putting a lot of them on the battlefield.
There you go. Here's the battle box, the launch box.
Comes together in the Solar Auxilia battle.
That's good.
So this is very much like the kind of army boxes we've seen for Age of Darkness and things like that, and all comes together. If you want to kind of kick off, kickstart a Solar Auxilia battle group, you can pick up this, and it gives you a good starting point. It's certainly not a full army.
You want to have at least 2 of these boxes.
You can have an awful lot of them, right? So you can have hundreds of troops on the battlefield if you want, but certainly gives you a very good starting point. And much like lots of other things in the Horus Heresy, you can ally these into your forces as well. So if you've got a Space Marine force, you can quite reasonably...
They haven't shown any 40k stuff yet.
To it, but there is something fun about just having lots of mortal troops.
Yeah.
But that's not all. There is more. There's more on the way for the Solar Auxilia. So those of you who are very familiar with the Horus Heresy rules will know that the Lehman Russ has got more options than that kit. We couldn't quite pack every single weapon option onto the single frame, so there is an alternate version.
That's pretty standard for the Horus Heresy. There's always at least 2 versions of one tank.
Is the kind of short range, version
just look at things like the
battle cannon and some of
the Leviathan. There's a close combat one and a shooty one.
Which is your kind of classic close range siege weapon.
Predators. There's what, 2 Predator tanks?
Cannon, and you've got a Volkite cannon in there as well, which is obviously what I'm going to go with. It's going to be the Volkite. Yeah. Right? So this is
got to love some Volkite.
Short range weapon version of the Lehman
Could
Russ,
model a longer barrel into the transport and turn it into a tank hunter. Yeah, you could. Yeah.
The Velataris Storm section is a really fun addition as well.
These are Solar Auxiliary Stormtroopers, like Tempest Scions.
The unit composition you can see on the screen there is fully kitted out with Volkite, so this is your kind of deflagrating.
This is the unit that you build for the games, because they are
nuts. An awful lot of firepower coming out of that squad, so you can imagine squads of 10 and 20 of these piling out of Dracosians and kind of unleashing a huge amount of firepower into things. And you do need a lot of firepower to take down the things they have to go up against, so you probably want a few of these in the mix.
Yeah.
Worth noting about this unit, you can also kit them out with axes, which gives you a little bit of close combat punch into the mix as well. There is something endearing, I suppose, about a human that has been given like a big heavy suit of armor, and then they're looking across the battlefield at these 7 or 8 foot tall superhuman warriors they need to go up against, and then their commander hands them an axe and goes, "Can I have a gun?" He's like, "No, you get an axe.
Take this.
Have a great time." It's quite a good axe, you know. It's powered and all the rest of it. You can chop through stuff. But you've got to respect that, I think, in a trooper, if they're willing to go toe-to-toe with a Space Marine armed with only...
I don't think they go toe-to-toe with the Space Marine. They kind of act as a road bump for the Space Marines.
Lots of interchangeability between some of these kits as well, so things like arms and heads and back banners and stuff like that, you can swap and change between them, much like you can with the Legion kit for the Space Marines, where you can kind of swap and change between lots of those armor marks and things.
We did see the...
Well,
yeah, that can't be the only thing for 40k.
The Malkador heavy tank.
Surely not.
This is a kind of one-up on your Lehman Russ with even
There's
more
what?
firepower.
There's still...
You've got loads of options on this for different things.
Unless they're going to show a lot more at Adapticon.
This is designed to go toe-to-toe with things like Spartan tanks and Land Raiders and the kind of slightly larger...
If that's the only 40k they show, then that means that the Chaos Orcs and Custodes are after March or April May time, and that means Kroot are coming in March.
Demolisher cannons and heavy flamers and different sponsor options.
Plastic Malkadors. Ooh.
Or longer range anti-tank support. Whatever you need, basically, the Malkador can kind of fill that gap in your army.
Go to pick up 2 boxes of the Battle Force and kitch bash them into Corn Mat Solar Auxiliary. pawn. So you're not going to be running around with Volkite. You're going to be running around with axes. See, typical World Eater players. Someone mentioned an axe and they get excited.
It's a really cool army.
Looks fantastic. Oh, lovely stuff.
That must be it now. It's an hour.
Any highlights for you, Eddie?
I'm excited about Callus and Toll, I think, actually.
Yeah,
I like those two. I'm looking forward to painting up some new stuff. But I think there's some really good stuff for all the games.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the Kroot as well, I think.
Yeah, they look great.
They look very cool, kind of bolted onto a Tau army, but I think looking forward to seeing what people do with entire armies of Kroot.
Yeah, and that's half the...
And that's just half of them. Yeah, there's loads more on the way. I mean, it's
half the Kroot. There's more Kroot.
Awesome.
The thing about that I'm quite excited about is that up until this point, the rules have been available, but most Horus Heresy games have been Space Marine versus Space Marine. But this adds like a whole extra dimension. So all of a sudden, even if you're a Space Marine player, you go, okay, so what happens if I know I'm going to go up against loads of Solar Auxilia? I'm going to have some anti-infantry stuff.
That's good
so all
shot.
of a sudden, your decision of like which weapons and things the most efficient.
That's just World Eater mentality, really, isn't it?
Power armor, you might go,
I mean, as a new Iron Warriors player, the Solar Auxiliaries is kind of nice to add in as an allied detachment. I might make a 1,000-point allied detachment of Solar Auxiliary.
Hope you enjoyed getting a bit of a peek at all of those fantastic releases.
This is when the previews annoy me because they never end with a teaser.
Producer Raph for getting up at the crack of dawn with us and pushing the buttons, making it all happen. And a thank you to you, Eddie, for
taking us through
all those awesome releases. As always, you can catch up on all the releases that you've seen this morning, today, tonight, wherever you might be, on the Warhammer community website. And we will see you on the next one. Take care.
Oh, thanks very much, boys. Well, that's it, everybody. That is it. That is it. I am probably going to go back to bed. But yeah, that's it. There was some pretty cool stuff. Solar Auxiliary. Definitely impressed with the Solar Auxiliary. Definitely impressed with that. So we get in Dwarf and Empire announced tomorrow. Probably, yeah. There's a big launch event at Warhammer World for the Old World. So expect the next wave of launch boxes to be announced. It's definitely Dwarfs because it's teased. It won't be Empire. It's going to probably be Dwarfs, Orcs and Goblins. For the Old World is probably going to be the next two. It's very obvious that they're going to be pairing them. I think the High Elves are going to be the one that isn't paired against anybody. That whole thing that come out on the internet with the roadmap for Old World, that is 100% fake. That came from a Dana Howell video. And it was her speculation of how she sees the release of the Old World over the year. The problem is she kind of said it was going to be spread out for the entire year, which is not happening. I can't see that happening. It's the reason why is, like, obviously there is very little Age of Sigmar to come out for the first 6 months of this year. Age of Sigmar 4th edition will be coming out during the summer. I've pretty much earmarked 22nd of June will probably be the weekend that it launches. And then there's not much of that. There's a core system not really coming out. So obviously there's a lot of 40k for the first 6 months of this year, as we've already seen with the roadmap for 40k. There's a lot of books coming from now until the summer. And there's like 7 or nearly 8 books coming out. So they're probably going to sort of do kind of what they did last year, where they had 40k and Horus Heresy kind of sort of bouncing backwards and forwards. And then major releases of Age of Sigmar through that until like the new edition of 40k come out. So I would expect, I'm probably going to suspect that next month we will see the next set of army boxes for the Old World. And then I would suspect probably in March for another 2. And that would be 2, 4, 6. That would be 6 out of 9 boxes. But I would imagine that all 9 factions will be released by June. I'm pretty much sure that everything will be released by June. Then it'll be safe to say of like seeing how they support it going forward. But it's going to be an interesting one. It's weird that the artist said army, not army. Army's plural. Yeah, it could just be the dwarf box, but I can't imagine that they're gonna. I can't imagine they're gonna roll this out like piecemeal. That could potentially kill the momentum of the old world straight away. But today, what will be happening is later on, I'm probably going to go and grab a sleep for a couple of hours, because it's like 6 o'clock in the morning here in the UK, and yeah, it is early. And then there will be a video this afternoon for going over what we've just seen in the previews, which will be kind of cool. And then later on this evening, about 6:30 UK time, I will have a painting video for the High Elf painting tutorial. Will be coming out. If you're a Horus Heresy fan, I'm going to be doing deep dives into each of the legions now that I have both Heretic and Loyalist books. And that'll be starting very soon with Dark Angels. So yeah, it's pretty good. So I can't believe the numbers actually for this stream tonight has been really, really amazing, to be quite honest. So thank you everybody. It has been really, really good. Like I think 22 is the highest views I've had. And as a live stream, that's the highest live stream views I've had since starting on YouTube last year. So thank you very much. So I'm going to jump off now and go and get some sleep for a little bit, and then get some YouTube stuff done. But yeah, I will catch you all in the next one. I will try to start doing regular streams, live streaming again. I'm going to be waiting until after I've moved in with the girlfriend next month. So I'll probably be moving out in a couple of weeks. And then I've got my own little room. I say I've got my own little room. She'll be working in there during the day when she works from home. But I'll have my own a proper little space rather than me sat in the corner of my bedroom. Right, where I am right now. So it should be a little bit better. I've got a little neon light because you've got to be, if you're a YouTuber, you've got to have like a pink or blue LED light in the corner. It's the rules apparently. So I'll be sort of trying to make it look pretty cool. I'm going to be ordering a couple of disc plates for the walls, so hopefully you'll see them. So I'm going to try to make it look good. And then we'll start doing a lot of painting streams. I don't think I'll be doing talking head streams like this going forward, unless it's like a preview like this. But I'm going to try to get to do some sort of painting streams where I'm just painting, chatting, and vibing with you peeps, and just hanging out. So... But yeah, if you haven't yet subscribed, feel free to hit that button and subscribe, and check out the members area as well if you really want to. And if you enjoy the live streams, then you get a green name, which is kind of cool as well. But anyway, thank you very much to everyone who has joined me. Thank you. It's pretty cool that I got people actually here. I was expecting me to just watch this alone and talk to it. And I will see you all in the next one. Enjoy your